We got all kinds. I'm gonna tell you, in Michigan, these white people don't give a shit about Donald Trump's executive order. They don't. They don't give a shit. And you gotta think about it. That's why law and order is, a statement. Law and order. You got law, but you gotta have the order. It don't mean just because you have law that everybody gonna follow it. That's how it is, baby. Trump signed executive orders. Don't mean that white people just gonna fall in line and they're just gonna do what the president says just because he said it. That's why the law there, because people don't know how to obey by the laws. So that's why the law is there, because there's gonna be some people that's not gonna give a fuck about the law. And they gonna break it on purpose, intentionally. And that's why the law there. That's why, like, for instance, when Donald Trump, and I'm gonna tell y'all what this is all about. Why is this such a big deal with executive orders? Why y'all wanna know why it is? It started in Michigan with me. This is how all this shit started. I know y'all like, why is all this executive order shit? I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm about to tell y'all right now. Michigan disregarded one of the most easiest executive orders that was supposed to be accomplished, which shouldn't have been a problem for nobody. It shouldn't have been, because it was about helping keep people alive and safe. But these motherfuckers didn't want it to happen. They didn't want people to be safe. They didn't want them to be healthy. They didn't want them to be all right. And I hate to say it, we got a lot of people in Michigan that's Caucasian as well. You got niggas too that do it, but you got a lot of people that's Caucasian don't give a fuck about certain people lives, whether they live or die. They just don't give a fuck. Some of them proud to be hateful, prejudiced people. And those collectives a lot of times have money that they'll pay people who don't necessarily share that same view, but for the money, the dollar, they'll do anything for it. And so those people count on that greed from you certain individuals that will hurt your own people over money. That you don't give a fuck about your people when it comes to money. If it's money on the table. So Trump gave the executive order 2019 not to evict people from their homes during the COVID virus. During COVID-19, that's what Donald Trump set up. No evicting people. And up north here in Michigan, we got a lot of snow. So Trump really we got a lot of northern states that got snow and real bad weather and people getting sick. They can't go to work. They can't go to work because if they go to work, they gonna contaminate other motherfuckers. So it's a pandemic. So Trump said, we're not evicting nobody until this shit is over with, until we get a halt on it. Livonia, Michigan. I'm sorry, Redford, Michigan. Evicted me from this home. Here I'm in now. You see I'm back home now. But it wasn't because of Donald Trump's executive order. They totally disregarded Donald Trump's executive order and simply said it's an emergency. Which my wife works for the Bureau, Justice Department, downtown Detroit, and she made up some lie. I don't even know. You're like, what lie did she make up? I don't know. They never allowed me to go to court to face my accuser. They just evicted me. The judge signed some paper from I don't know who. They never allowed me to go to court, and officers came to my home here at 11321 Centralia, Redford, Michigan, and evicted me. Told me I had to go. I got my jugular vein cut, being in the streets, having to walk the streets. Y'all want to know how I live? I caught the bus all night like I was a motherfucking New Yorker. I stayed on the subway, you know, like New York niggas do. Stay on the subway all night. From 2 to 5 o'clock ain't really that long. That's 3 hours. After 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, shit started to open up. You can go and get a little coffee and start heading to work. So it's only really like 3 hours. I just had to stay busy. And it was like, well, how long was it? I don't even want to count it. You know, I swallowed a lot of that shit because, you know, in my mind, I put it in membranes. It's in some storage file cabinet type of sorting alphabetical row in my cortex. So I got the key somewhere else, the key to the padlock. You know, I got the padlock and unlock it, then the key, and then it opens up another cortex in my brain, and then I can get the combination from there. But I gotta go through all that to tell you actual times and shit. So, you know, I swallowed that shit and put it in certain portions of my brain. I can't even think of it right off random. It takes me a minute. I have to go pop open shit and dig up shit. You know, so I get back with y'all on those times and shit. That's how you gotta do. That's how you gotta do rough times and being hurt and shit. You gotta learn how to store that shit somewhere else so you can focus on what you need to focus on surviving. So again, Redford, Michigan, 17th District Court evicted me from my home here and my wife on some bullshit. Some fabrication lies. We're gonna all get to that. That's why God made me go to law school. You know, I brag about going to law school, but my high school was a law school. Cooley was a law school. Thomas Cooley was the Michigan's first head of the law program in the state of Michigan. Michigan used to have the #1 law school in the United States over Harvard, and because of Thomas Cooley, and the white people closed the school down because they don't like us niggas in Michigan, really, and they definitely don't like us having that school. We won 3 state championships. I went there. I got 2 championships there. Well, it's some more, but we'll talk about that shit. It's, like I said, I got storage, tunnels, and in my cortexes that I have information planning. I just be speaking on random shit, you know, that's there, but I can't go into a lot of details on shit like that off the rip. But again, this ain't conversation for that. This is about the executive order and how Michigan people was like, fuck the executive order. And why Trump making a big deal right now about, and y'all want to know, this is why it's such a big deal. This is why the executive order. So, because a lot of people about to not only get fucked over, but a lot of them about to go to prison because of disregarding the executive orders, like Redford, Michigan personnel. And my thing with that, I can't wait to find out all the people that had the responsibility and the titles to do something about it. Because I know off random, like the judge, the sergeants of these officers, and the detectives and the defense attorney. The prosecutor. I know that them easy, but it's some other people that's a part of as the court officers of the 17th District Court. People that's behind the glass, that had the flags that was waving and they seen it and they were supposed to say something, but they didn't say nothing. I can't wait to find out who the fuck those motherfuckers is. And not only them, of course, the other officers, the ones that pledged the oath, they're purging themselves because of the statements that they put on the reports, the police reports, purposely trying to change the interpretations of what was going on. What I'm saying is they knew that I hadn't been to court about a alleged PPO, protection order against the house, not my wife. It was against the house that one of the officers I actually had to be done by a police officer, which we don't know yet who. You like, who? I don't know yet. We gonna find out though, cause they gonna start snitching on each other like in the next 2-3 hours. They gonna start presenting information so they don't be made to be blamed. Because a lot of people about to go to prison over this shit. My jugular vein got cut in Detroit. When I stay in the suburbs, I had to go stay in Detroit, one of the roughest cities in the United States since the last, 30, 40 years? Anyways, I'm just thinking about the motherfuckers didn't even give me a bag to carry my shit in. I'm talking about the police officers. They gave me like 5 to 10 minutes to pack all my belongings on the marriage that was approximately 9 to 8 years at that time. I think we was 9 to 8 years in the marriage now. I mean, now it's 15 now. But the point is, the executive order, they knew that Donald Trump had made an executive order, because this is what this is about. This is why all the first day that Trump got in office, he was signing all the executive orders, and he was holding them up. So to show you motherfuckers, here's my signature, motherfuckers. See, he can't talk like I can talk, but I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna say the nigga way. Here's my motherfucking signature, motherfuckers. Since y'all act like I didn't motherfuck, and this is why they was fucking with Trump. This is why they tried to get him arrested, and they tried to do all this shit. This is why they did all these federal people, all these people. And y'all talking about them losing their jobs. They allowed me and other people to lose our jobs and didn't give a fuck about us. And now the shit happening on them, and they want people to be remorseful about what they done on purpose. These the same motherfucking people that did me the same way and turned their motherfucking back as if they didn't see this shit and knew what was going on. They knew what was going on. They was even taunting me and belittling me about what they knew and what they was doing. I'm talking about Detroit police officers and personnel, sheriff departments and Redford, Michigan, all because they call themselves colleagues. And they didn't know me or the situations. They just merely did it based on the fact that they are colleagues in the justice system. But not one of them took the initiative of standing up for what was right. Well, except one sheriff. And they moved her to some other department. I seen her on TV doing something else, but she probably got her office back. I'ma find out. But I just don't forget I owe her about $8 million just for it, just for what she done. And only thing, what did she do? She just did the right thing. She didn't allow nobody to tell her to do the wrong thing. That's all she did. Only thing she did was do her job the right way. And a lot of judges in Detroit, well, I ain't gonna say a lot, but the ones that I've seen did their job the right way and was trying to they were trying to persecute them for doing their job. That's why they was fucking with the one judge. They said she was walking through the airport with the pistol and shit. When they know she can have a pistol, she a judge, she a federal judge, she can have a gun. It's her constitutional right. But that's another story for another time. I'm just saying the good guys have been being persecuted by the bad guys, and the bad guys. Sometimes we have bad people that have good jobs, and a lot of them is getting fired right now, and they trying to talk shit about, and nobody's upset about them losing their jobs. But the only reason they losing their job because they was in corruption to purposely do bad to people that wasn't protected or up under their umbrella. Which means that they wasn't even going by the law. They was just going by friendship and colleagues. Well, let me tell you, like I said, I'm going to talk the nigga way. Them pussies was scared. They was scared to not be liked by their colleagues, so they was bitches and scared. Them bitches was scared to stand up on their own 2 feet and do the right motherfucking thing. They was bitches and pussies, and so since they was bitches and pussies, they wasn't strong enough to stand up because they was bitches and pussies. Because if you put all those bitches and pussies together, they feel like they strong. That's why they went after me and Donald Trump the way they did. But my thing is this. I know Donald Trump a smart motherfucker, but do y'all think that he set this shit up from the first time? Is anybody else starting to think this shit like, wait a minute, did this motherfucker, when he was in office the first time, set up all this shit? So they could be evil and try to fuck him and his family over, and the whole time, he always been in control. Anybody starting to see that? Because when he got inaugurated on the day and he went and started signing them executive orders, that's what it said to me. You mean to tell me all this shit was a setup? Give a nigga an inch. He take a foot. Give him a rope. He want to be a cowboy. Eddie Murphy joke. But the thing is, I want y'all to understand is that when he became president again, he signed the first. Have you ever seen a president start signing executive orders on the first day at the job? He just starts signing and then showing the autograph, giving the pens, giving motherfuckers. No, these pens is valuable. You might want to keep these forever. These pens is gonna be a collector's. These motherfuckers are valuable. These are the pens that I'm using to sign the executive order. This is like Abraham Lincoln, nigga. This is like George Washington signing. Do you see this signature? Keep these pens, don't lose them. These motherfuckers gonna be worth millions one day. These pens. He throwing them in the crowd. Like he Jay-Z. I knew. I said, I ain't gonna pay no attention. I'm like, cause I had so much fucked up shit happen to me. I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, I believe it when I see it. But I ain't seen it yet, but I do know this. The first day in office, he signed executive office. And if you know what the hell I've been talking about these last 5 years, yeah, Biden may end up in prison, y'all. If he don't die first. If he don't die first, Biden may end up in prison. Because Biden had a whole lot to do. I texted his ass on Facebook, told him, so everybody can read it. I told him. He know. Biden knew what the fuck was going on. Him and Kamala, what's her name? Pamela. Both of them the same day. She know too. That's probably why she missing. You know that she ain't popped her head up and said a word. I think she know the jig is up. Yeah, because it's a crime. I told them what was going on and they didn't do nothing about it. And they can't say that they don't know about it. It was on their motherfucking Facebook. I posted it on their Facebook. So even if they don't look at their Facebook, somebody told them. But months after that, I noticed they was having all type of activity on their Facebook, and I just said, fuck it. I posted it a couple times, but I was like, I ain't gonna trip. God was like, just wait. But Pamela, you don't even see her no more. She don't say shit. She don't come on and say nothing. Like, I'm good. I'm just upset about the shit. It's fucked up. Nothing. Well, let me tell you what I know about it. She may end up in prison too. Biden, yeah, he supposed to be in prison. But man, Biden supposed in some countries. There's some shit that he allowed. There's some shit. I'm just, I'm gonna let it play itself out. I ain't gonna say nothing about that. Cause this ain't about that. This is about the executive orders and why Trump and he was signing them executive orders like he was as soon as he got inaugurated. Like, soon as he got inaugurated, he went straight to the motherfucking office and started signing executive orders. Like, do y'all see these bitches now? Do you see this? See this? This one, because Michigan was acting like they didn't give a fuck. And that's why I'm talking to y'all, because in the state of Michigan, they still acting like they don't give a fuck. And I'm telling y'all because the military have been getting grouped up. How you say it? Riled up. But they grouping them up. I don't know if y'all been paying attention. I don't know. I would hate to see that. No, I wouldn't. I think that we do need the military to police. Because the police and the Justice Department have behaved like Nazis. No matter what the color is, they all acting the same. They just being Nazis. They don't even give a fuck about the law. They taking shit, they stealing your shit. That's your shit. They just taking your shit. Like the Nazis, that's their shit. They just taking it. It's mine now. They going in your shit, stealing, taking shit out your house, going in your private areas, reaching, putting their hands in your shit, in your drawers, pulling out shit, taking shit. That's the same way the Nazis did. That's the same way the Nazis did the Jews. Fuck what y'all talk about. But the point is, Michigan don't give a fuck about the executive order, and I have a tremendous lawsuit on the fact, because the judge basically said it was an emergency. See, I can't tell y'all what the fuck they said with the executive. I mean, with the emergency supposed to be, because they never told me. I never had a court date about it. They just printed up some paperwork, and gave it to some officers, and they came over here to my house and served me the protection order. Now, you say, what happened? Did you do anything? Hell no. I been knew my wife was a employee for the Justice Department. That means she a police officer. They try to say she ain't, because she got a felony. That's the only reason they trying to say she ain't. But she's an employee. They work in the same building. She got an office building. She in the office on the floor at the Justice Department, and she been there 20 years. She's an employee of the police, the Justice Department. So all of it was prearranged. And because they prearranged it, they felt like they didn't have to grant me due process. And the fucked up thing about this portion is, if I got due process, that means we get to go to court, and the judge, I get to say, well, this is mine, this is hers, and the judge get to make a settlement, and I'm not on my ass. I'm not in the streets homeless. I can have a roof over my head. But see, these dirty motherfuckers didn't allow that. That's what I'm bringing to y'all. They didn't allow me to go to court to even argue the point where I can get my shit. They just put me out the house, and without a court date, they just ordered it and served the hearing and had it without me even being subpoenaed or given the paperwork to even address whatever the fuck the issue. The issue, you say, well, what is the issue? Again, I can't tell you because they didn't tell me. Which is major fucking illegal. Majorly. They can put my name. This could be This city, Redford, Michigan, can easily be named Jawan Deshaun Robinson, Michigan. Now, I can have the whole fucking city. Easily. Because of that lack of due process. Have you ever heard of a motherfucker being evicted without having any due process court hearing? No, you haven't. If you have, please let the nearest attorney know. That's one of the most evilest, dirtiest, low-down shit you can ever do in a society. Is take a person's home without going to court. Do you know the red tape you have to go through to do that? You in Michigan, if you do look at the rules and laws, you even gotta have the proper people to evict people. You can't just use a regular police officer. You gotta have bailiffs that's from the state. The state requires that you have the right personnel to even serve those papers. Just because they don't want no conflict of interest, like an officer fucking one of the girls or boys and they just using their domestic relationship to interfere and process and get the other motherfucker kicked out the house so they can come in and continue fucking. Which, that's what it's looking like. But don't tell nobody I told y'all, okay? Yeah, I know they listening, but these motherfuckers so dumb, it's gonna go in one and out the other. I promise you. They got too much other bullshit that they gotta focus on. They got too many other lies they gotta try to clear up to focus on the truth. They can't worry about that. So again, don't tell them I told y'all. They gonna forget in a couple days. It's gonna be gone. They can't afford to keep concentrating on that truth. They gotta continue to try to fix the lies and the bullshit they was in. They got to. They don't have no choice. They facing racketeering, RICO, prison shit. Cause everything I'm talking about right now is federal shit. This ain't no misdemeanor shit. This ain't no slap on the hand probation. This is conspiracy, racketeering. At one time in America, they hung people for this type of shit. They killed them. People who took cattle, estates that wasn't theirs, people would go and they was called cow wrestlers. They would go and they just take people cows and shit. Cows is very valuable. You can use that like cars, like commodity, and you can bank that. You can use them as bonds and shit inside of the banking system. Like real estate. It has a value to it without having a weight of gold or a dollar. It has value and equity in the weight of that motherfucker or those steers. But when people stole them, that money that's in the bank that's already being loaned out and they done spent that shit. Now these cow wrestlers come and take the shit. Everybody getting fucked in the deal. The only person that's good is the cow wrestlers. That's why they hung them motherfuckers. I'll talk to y'all later.